We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a late night Norsefius edition of Vikings Uncensored. I told him we were doing a
Indeed.
late night show. He better get his ass in here. I haven't seen him yet, but
Oh, Norpheus, where are you?
damn guy. Yeah, I apologize for the late night tonight, but scheduling conflicts this weekend made it kind of tough. So we'll do a show when we can do the show, I guess. But uh, tonight we talk about the safeties. Hit the cornerbacks last night. Safety seems to be a popular topic, so we'll hit that. But before we get into those guys, we've got a couple of news items, and of course, at the end, we'll do the mock draft roundup, kind of showing what the quote unquote experts are picking for the Vikings to be drafting here in about a month from now. So, with that, we can
Oh,
get
he
started.
is here. Norpheus has arrived.
Norsefius is here. All right. I say we did a show special.
Swede, Blunt, Proto. Nice seeing you
Yep.
guys too.
Good evening, everybody. Um, but yeah, we start off, I guess, with the stuff that just people keep freaking out about on Viking social media. Of course, the NFLPA had
Oh
their
man.
golf tournament early this. Are we froze up or are we
No, we're good. I think we're moving smooth.
okay? It's showing froze up on my side, but if we're as long as we're still going, we'll keep talking.
I can see you. You're moving smooth, bro.
All
We're
right,
good.
so I won't worry about it then. I just can't see what's going on, but yeah, NFLPA had their golf outing thingy. Is this an AA meeting, George? No. Nympha, good morning. And JJ McCarthy, of course, playing, the brave soul that he is, just showing that courage coming out after his leg fell off and the Chihuahua ate it and everything else, that to go back out there and support
Yeah,
his teammate and the rest of, and he made the comment, when Kay Adams was interviewing him about, the Vikings have not told him that he is the starting quarterback. And then, of
oh,
course,
Aaron Rodgers.
everybody freaking goes off. The Vikings don't have any confidence in JJ McCarthy because they haven't told. What do you expect? The fucking Lion King thing? Have Kwesi holding JJ out off the edge of the roof at TCO Performance Center? I
Oh
mean,
man. Why not? Do it.
and then they go. Of course, Kwesi had press conference earlier this week, and they asked him about this stuff, and he said, "Yeah, they did due diligence on Aaron Rodgers. They do due diligence on every player
Right.
that's a free agent. That you wouldn't be doing your job as management of an NFL team if you weren't at least discussing players that were available, and if they're a fit
Exactly.
on your team or not."
Yeah,
But
I agree.
and the Athletic. Normally, I like the stuff the Athletic puts out, but this whole thing,
Recently, it's been a little
Diana Rossini especially,
speculative.
and I know last week Alec Lewis and Paul Allen got into it on PA's show about it too, and
It's not going to go to arrest until it goes to arrest. We're going to hear about it until the book is fucking closed on the situation.
Yeah, and apparently Pittsburgh, has offered Rodgers a contract and all that other
If
stuff.
I was Pittsburgh, I'd be fucking like Rodgers is holding them hostage, man.
Yeah, right now they have Mason Rudolph, and that's it.
Well, they got Skylar Thompson, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not much more.
yeah. But anyway, I don't want to turn into that. I just wanted to talk about hit it quick. Kwesi did get asked about the lack of a contract extension to this point. I don't see it happening before the draft, right as it sits right now. I think they want to see how the draft plays out first.
I mean, he is under contract for another year. It very well could be until week 7 of this upcoming season before they get anything worked out. You would hope they weren't doing contract negotiations during the season. But
yeah, I mean, it's different doing it with a general manager, I think, than it would be doing it with the head coach or a player or something like that.
yeah.
Kwesi's not involved with the day to day football operations, so I don't know how much that is. I think it still gets done. Skull for Life Barber, good evening. He's done a masterful job. He's hit a home run the last 2 seasons in a
Free
row.
agencies.
See, got us out of salary cap hell. I mean, as of today, we're still sitting there with $27 million in cap space. So, and I looked at the over the cap. I think we're over the cap slightly next year. Then we have $93 million again in 2027. So,
yeah. I don't know. And I still have faith in some of these guys that we brought in his drafts, eventually catching on as well, like a Dallas Turner. More Jalen Naylor, too, as well.
Well, and McCarthy's going to play a big role this year.
Exactly. Yes.
Jordan Addison. I mean, you've got good players there. It's not. Will's waiting to see how they do with his NCAA bracket. Yeah. Sarah, good evening.
You'd hate to quit. You'd hate to quit on Cam. I think as an organization, this was his first experience actually in that GM role too. So he's growing, and I believe he's still kind of growing in that aspect. Yeah. And I think we've been a patient organization as far as people at coaching and in the GM office. I look for the Wilfs to extend him eventually.
Yeah, Norsefius can't hear us. Can everybody else hear us, or is it? I know my computer was being a piece of crap here before we started, so I don't know if there's a connection problem or not. It looks like it's good on our end now, but if you can't hear us, please say something.
I'll turn the volume up on your speakers.
Turn the volume up, Norsefius. Yeah. Anyway, let's roll into the meat and potatoes of the night. We start looking at the safety class. Not maybe quite as deep as the cornerback class we looked at last week, but there are some very good safeties in this class. And
thank God Norse can't hear. Great.
Clean out your ears, dude. But safety has been a spot, as we'll see again coming up in the mock draft roundup, that has been pointed toward the Vikings quite a bit in the draft, coming up to this. And I know people are, again, social medias, we drafted, go back to the Lewis Cine, the last safety we drafted, and you got people having PTSD over that.
Yeah. There's not heavy talent this class in safeties, but the few guys that I like that play the position, I believe, can play at the next level at a high level.
Oh, I think so too. And we might as well roll right into the first guy that, a lot of you guys in the chat have talked about. We've talked about him quite a bit. Nick Imanwuri, the junior out of South Carolina.
I got him at 1.
6'3", 227.
That size alone is very appealing. And the fact that he can bring it in between the lines is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean he's been a starter in college since he didn't start his first game, but he was backup and the starter got hurt the first series of that game. I forget who it was against, but he came in to take the place of the guy that got hurt and never missed a start after that.
Never gave it up again. Yeah.
Uh,
88 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 4 picks, and 2 pass defenses last season alone.
yeah,
Love it.
well, for his college career, he has 224 tackles and 6 interceptions in 37 games. And the guy is built like a linebacker. I mean,
And he's gonna. And the thing is he's only gonna get better too. I mean,
yeah,
he's number one on my list as far as the safety I want. I would love to see what Flores could do with that size at
mm-hmm.
that position.
Yeah. He's my top guy too. If they go safety, this is the guy I would most like off the list. I guess you put it that way. Um,
There's
you know,
another guy though that's I think is right behind him, and I'll
yeah,
wait till you get there.
yeah. Now, one thing I am going to preface: a lot of these guys on this list, they're really aggressive. There's a lot of them that are really good coming up and run support and things like that. But Emin Worry is one of those guys that he'll come up and he'll lay the freaking wood to you.
Yes, he can play in the box as well. He can move him all over the field.
Yep. He's rarely misses a tackle. He's got really good tackle form. Fast too for the size he is. At
Yes,
6'3", 227, he ran a 4.38. That's burning for a big dude like that.
yes, exactly. The potential is just the ceiling is very high on this young man.
Mm-hmm. Before I get too far into this, now some of the stuff, the notes and stuff we have, of course, is from our own. But I did again use some of the NFL draft buzz scouting reports on some of these guys, so I have to give the hat tip to them too for some of their write ups that we're using as part of our breakdown here. So I just wanted to get that out of the way first. But yeah, Emin Worry is the guy I would take if I'm drafting a safety. But this next guy is pretty good too, though. Malachi Starks, the junior out of Georgia, 6'1", 205. He had 68 tackles as a freshman, 77 tackles and 4 tackles for loss last year. Another guy, he's actually faster than Emin Worry. He ran a 4.35. Good at coming up to the box, playing the run. Ball skills are very good.
He's number one on a lot of people's lists as well.
Yeah.
I got him at 3. I got him at 3 on my list here.
Yeah, he's kind of my 2A or 2B, I guess I would put him at. I mean, the kid can play. He's a good player.
He is. He is a good player.
One knock
rave
on
about
him.
him down there in Georgia. They rave about him down there. So about his leadership skills and the way what he brings to the field. So
yeah, I mean, one of the couple of knocks on him, and again, none of these guys are perfect. They all got their little dings in the game, but he will tend to take bad angles once in a while, and relies on his speed a little bit too much to try to, catch back up if he does, take a wrong angle or get off a little bit. So I mean, but that's stuff like that.
That's stuff that can be coached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who replaces Smith? Why replace Smith? He's immortal.
Man, I love Harrison Smith. I love Harrison Smith, and like we've mentioned before, he's not he hasn't been a liability up until this point, at all in his career.
No.
Back there, and now you love the leadership and the mentorship that he brings to the team as well.
Mm-hmm. And that's you bring in a guy like an Emin Worry or even a Starks or somebody like that, and you got Harrison Smith to mentor him for a year.
Yeah, the heir apparent.
Yep. Speaking of heir apparents, and Norsefius brought this guy up on just a minute ago here. My 2A/2B, whichever one you want to put him at.
I think we're on the same level here.
Xavier Watts, the senior out of Notre Dame.
Yes, definitely number 2 on my list.
Yeah, 6', 203. He's a former wide receiver. Uh, 13 interceptions in the last 2 years.
Yep.
He's got that wide receiver background. He is
So he
invaluable for
sees
this
the field
kid.
a different way at that
Yep.
position too.
Yeah, that's the thing. He can sorry, he can recognize the plays really quick. He's great processing speed.
I
Uh,
got I got great tackler, great instincts, plays to the ball well, has the ability to move around the field in or out of the box, good coverage skills, and can play one on one as well up
yep.
against some of those number 3 receivers.
And one thing he's also really good at is being able to bait the quarterback into making a bad throw.
Yes.
I've noticed that in some of the
And that's
tape
not
I
a
was
skill you can
watching.
really coach up either. That's
No,
something that you just learn.
that's
Something
just
you just know
instinct.
it's in their game. Yes,
And there again, some of that I think comes from being an ex wide receiver because you know how the route trees and stuff are run. So you
exactly.
use that against the quarterback. But I I think I would put Watts above Starks. Like I said, I like them both, but
I do too. Yeah, I got Emanwari at 1,
yep,
Watts at 2, and Starks at 3.
yep. So I like I said,
I'd be elated if we got Watts or Emanwari.
mm-hmm,
Those are the guys I want in this crop.
yep. Now Emanwari and Starks are pretty much been
Unless we're
shown.
going later round.
Yeah, those two have been first round. Most mocks I've seen. Watts has popped in there a few times. But so he's that fringe end of round one, start of round two kind of guy.
I was going to say, and a lot of these safeties, I mean, they fall a little bit farther down the draft as well. So you'll see
They
a lot
can,
of good
yeah.
ones in the second and third round. Yeah.
Yep. The next guy on the list, another guy that I like, I was watching some tape on him this afternoon. Andrew Makuba, the
Number
senior,
4 on my list. Yes, number 4 on my list.
6 foot 190. He was a transfer from Clemson to Texas. He was the first true freshman to start at defensive back in a season opener for Clemson since 1972.
Wow. Wow, good little tidbit there.
Yeah, I mean, speed and change of direction this kid have got is really great. He can play slot cornerback. He play in the box. He can play
Versatile.
defensive
That's what I
end.
love about him. That's what I love about this guy the most. His
Yep.
versatility.
Another guy that'll come up and lay the freaking wood to you in the run game.
Yes.
He's not
Physical.
very physical. His ball skills, he had I forgot to write down how many interceptions that he had in college, but he had several. I mean, he's got really good
He
ball
had
skills.
he had 5 last year alone, and then
Yeah.
7 pass defenses. I love the interception and pass defenses, and the tackles mean the most to me when it comes to a safety.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, he's a guy. He's another guy. He's probably going to be in that late second to third round somewhere.
You know,
But another guy that I would like if we don't get one of the earlier guys.
if we trade down, that's somebody I would love to get.
Mm-hmm. Next guy on my list. This guy, I didn't really know much about, and then I watched some tape on him and did a little research on him. But Sebastian Castro, the senior out of Iowa.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Now,
I watched a little bit of tape
these
on him as
these
well.
other guys aren't necessarily in order. They kind of went, once it got past like the top 4 or 5, they just kind of, these are guys that looking at different rankings and stuff is kind of where they had them. But thing with Castro, he's a little undersized. He's 5'11".
Yes. Yes. I mean, yeah, that's pushing it, but yeah, 5'11", yeah.
Yeah, he played a lot of big nickel at Iowa, so he's got that. He's
He's
got
like
the
a hybrid
coverage ability.
safety. Yeah.
Yeah, plays like a linebacker. I mean, he kind of looks like Ivan Pace out there, and just kind of that. He's
Yeah,
short.
5'11", that's a little bit smaller on the smaller side for safety, but I mean,
Yeah,
Mathau wasn't that big either as far as
no,
stature goes.
no, but
He's a
but
pretty damn good safety. Bob
yeah,
Sanders is a hell of a safety too. Was a smaller stature.
yep. But I think Castro in the right scheme will be a pretty good player, and he's going to be a
I
guy.
agree.
mid rounds, fourth, fifth round, probably kind of guy.
Yep, yep, yep. I would say so too.
Yep. Next guy on the list, I've got Kevin Winston Jr.,
That's who I got
the
at 5.
the junior out of Penn State. 6'2", 210, another big guy.
Yes.
Uh, very elite in the run game. He's
Yep.
you
Can
know,
play down in the box or up top too as well. Versatile. Disguises what he's going to do well.
yep, he's kind of a heat-seeking missile when he comes up in the run game.
Yes. Yes.
His ball skills aren't as good as some of these other guys. He doesn't have a ton of interceptions. He does get caught peeking once in a while, and the quarterback can
Yep.
get him to jump with just by because he's watching his eyes too much. And some of that stuff, a lot of that stuff, you can be coached out of or out of him, but um,
He's
he
physical.
he's fit. Yeah, now he's still kind of raw. He's only started 13 games.
Yep. Yep.
And then he did have an ACL injury last year, so that's a little bit of a medical red flag, but nothing.
Yeah, I got him at 5 on my
Yeah.
ranking here.
Egg rolls, come on, Bob. Everybody likes egg rolls.
I like, especially when you make them yourselves. I don't like the ones in the box. I like when you actually get the stuff and make it. Those are the best.
Now the best ones I got are the Filipino egg rolls that my wife makes.
Oh man, I
I
imagine.
can
Yeah.
sit and eat 5 plates of them damn things. Oh, that's why I had to be on a diet. Anyway, back onto the safeties again.
That's why
Next
we
guy,
got told we should review Chinese buffets as well.
yeah. Well, I mean that's all we're good at. So
Anyways, continuing.
anyway, yes, continuing on.
Season 1 of Vikings Uncensored. If you're interested, go back and watch it.
Yep.
We talk about it.
The next guy on the list I have is Lathan Ransom, sorry, out of Ohio State. 6'1", 210. Now, he doesn't really have the pass coverage skills of a lot of these other guys. He's a great in the box safety, really good against the run, but he's kind of struggles against some of the better wide receivers. So played on the national championship team. I mean, he's a good player and played well in that
Mm-hmm.
defense, but he's more of an in the box kind of guy who's going to come up, play the run, maybe do some blitzing and stuff out of there rather than a guy you're going to want to have dropping deep in coverage too much. He does have an injury history, so that's a little bit of a flag there.
A knock on him. Yeah.
Had a broken leg in 2022 and a Lisp fracture in 2023. So
that's a little concerning. It's a little concerning,
I mean,
but
he's a guy I think the Vikings probably won't have on their board.
I don't believe so. He's not on my list, and I don't think so either.
No, so I mean, in the right scheme, he'll be a good player. I don't know that he'll be a starter. He may be a backup and special teamer.
Good special teamer. Yeah.
But anyway, the next guy I have on the list, Billy Bowman Jr. He's a senior out of Oklahoma.
Yep, I did a little bit on him. Don't have him on my list, but yeah.
Now he's another guy. Now he's even shorter than Castro is. Bowman comes in at 5'10", 200. I mean that's pretty
a little
short.
Smaller. Yeah.
But the guy is an absolute ball hawk. Set the school.
So he makes up for it.
Set the school record for return yardage from interceptions with 238 yards. Can play slot, play in the box, play deep. He's kind of reminds me of how they play Metellus.
Okay.
So, with already having a Metellus on the field here, I don't think he really fits into the Vikings scheme, but somebody who wants to play him in that kind of a role, I think he'd be a very good fit for that.
A little Swiss Army knife hybrid type of player.
Yeah. Or even like a Honey Badger or a Buda Baker kind of guy, maybe.
Yeah. There you go.
Next guy on the list I have is Jonas Sanker, a senior out of Virginia Tech.
Yeah, number 6 on my list. Sanker.
Okay. I'll give you the breakdown on him since you got him on the list. Then
Uh, loves to make tackles. Makes a lot of tackles. Good tackling safety. 9 tackles for a loss, so he can play up in the box as well. 2 sacks, 1 pick, and 4 pass defenses. I like what he has in size and strength, and this is the leading tackler out of all the guys I have on my list as well. So you know that he's physical, that he's willing to get down there and make those plays. And yeah, I would like this guy in the 5th or 6th round. I think that'd be perfect right there in that spot as a developmental guy as well. Somebody that could actually come in and sit a year and learn the system.
yeah. Another thing with him, really high football IQ, and a couple of the places I've did when I was doing some research, they rave about his leadership skills.
Yeah, read and react too as well.
Yep. So, he might be one of those later round gems that a guy could potentially pick
Yes,
up there.
I believe so. Yeah, 6 on my list for sure. I like what I seen on tape with him.
Mhm. Then the last guy I have is Malachi Moore, the senior out of Alabama.
Yep, number 7 on my list
Yeah.
as well.
6 foot 210. Started 11 games as a true freshman. Uh, he's got really high football IQ. Able to
And that experience.
read and react. He's got the experience. Uh, Almost a wide receiver esque ball tracking ability. Um, he's got a good. It's almost a little bit of a Harrison Smith way of how baiting the quarterback. He's shown that he can. He's very effective at that.
Good at disguising.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I have on the list here. Settling in, being able to sell the coverages and get the quarterback to react to what's not actually there. Um, can struggle a little bit against if he has to go up against some of the big run blockers, big tight ends, or tackles, things like that. But a lot of these guys are going to do that against a 300-pound tackle too.
Yep.
But did have some medical red flags, I guess, in his history. I couldn't find what those were. I just saw in Draft Buzz they had it on there that he had a couple of medical red
Yeah.
flags. They didn't specify what those were. If he's playing in the slot, some of those shifty little slot receivers can give him trouble once in a while. But he's going to be another one, kind of like Sanker, that's going to be that mid-round kind of guy.
I agree.
If you miss out on a safety early and you still want to pick one up, I think that's
Perfect. Yes.
Anybody else on your list there that you
That's
got?
it. That's my 7 guys. That's
All
my
right,
7 guys.
That's all the ones I've got here as well. So, anybody coming up with anything in the chat there other than we're having an egg roll cook-off, it looks like.
Yeah. I've never vaped as a like Coke. Wow. All right. All right, sweet.
Yeah. All right. So with that, we will roll into this week's. Gary, I'm not posting that on there. We don't need Norris's campsite. That's only fan. He's got one. All right. So anyway, with that, we're going to roll into this week's edition of the Mock Draft Roundup. Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, come on.
Well,
I apologize for the technical difficulties here, guys. I'm going to try. There we go. Hey,
there we go.
We got this one worked this weekend. The intro didn't work, but this works anyway. Several guys here, a lot of the same names we saw last week, but kind of moved around a little bit. The winner this week for the most mocked player to the Minnesota Vikings is the guy we talked about at the top of the show, safety out of South Carolina, Nick Emenwuri. We have Ayrton Osley from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Pete Prisco from CBS Sports, Michael Middlehurst Schultz from USA Today, Cam Miller from College Football Network, Chad Reuter from NFL Network has us trading back to 30 and getting him. If we could trade back to
That would
30,
be huge.
that would be huge right there.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah. Bucky Brooks from NFL Network, Reese Decker from Pro Football Network, and Josh Edwards from CBS Sports all give us Mr. Emanwari this week, and he is our top vote getter for
Love it.
this.
I'd be happy with that, especially if we can trade back to 30 and snag him. That
Oh,
would be
God, yeah.
ideal.
Because if you're moving
Yeah.
back 24 to 30, you're probably picking up Buffalo's second round pick in that deal, too.
God, I love that size. 6'3" frame,
Mm-hmm.
224 pounds. Oh,
Yeah,
I
like I
would
said,
love it.
he's built like a freaking linebacker and runs like a Corvette.
Yep, I would be happy with that pick.
Yep. The next guy on the list mocked here is Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback out of Kentucky.
I'm not really sold on Harrison, to be honest,
No, I'm
but
not. I'm not either. Like I said,
he's a
if you're
little
going,
wiry for me. He's a little wiry for me.
talked about that last week. Yeah, he's wiry.
Wiry.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're going cornerback in round one, I'm going
John A.
probably
Barron.
Jay Barron or Benjamin Morrison, or if Will Johnson falls down that far. But I mean, yeah, we do probably need a cornerback at some point in time. But yeah, I mean, Harrison in round one, I don't think is where I would go. But
No.
next guy on the list here, again, this is the tell me
I don't
that
get
you
this.
don't have any fucking idea what the Minnesota Vikings need or what they are doing mock pick.
Yeah,
Kelvin
I don't get
Banks,
this pick.
offensive tackle out of Texas. There's actually two people that mocked him to us this year: Daniel Harms from the Draft Network and Tom Fornelli from CBS Sports. Fornelli's usually better on this kind of stuff than that, but I mean, I know it's best player available type thing here for the Vikings, but you've got two basically all pro level tackles already. You don't draft a backup tackle in
No.
the first round.
No, there's got to be somebody else that you come up more than Banks on your big board at
Yeah.
that pick.
And if there's not, then you bail and trade
Then
back.
you trade down. Yes, exactly.
The next guy on the list, this is another one of those that I don't see the Vikings doing
No,
in
I
round
don't see
one.
us taking the edge.
No, James Pierce Jr., the edge out of Tennessee. NFL spin zone, Lou Scatagula is a guy, and I think he's a little scatterbrained on that pick, but I mean, whatever, I guess. Next guy, though, another one we talked about earlier tonight, Malachi Starks. He was the second most mocked to the Vikings this week. Safety out of Georgia. Jeff Reisen from DraftWire, Ben Rawl from Pro Football Network, Josh Edwards from CBS Sports, Walt Sherpinski from Walter Football, Marco Enriquez from Pro Football Network, and Charles Davis from NFL Network all gave us Malachi Starks this week.
I don't know if I would like that pick, to be honest with you. He's not one of my highly touted guys for a first round grade. I would rather, if we could get Watts at that pick, that would be better, in my opinion. Humbly,
I'm
but
starting.
I would be a little bit bummed.
I'm starting to lean that same way with you. Before I started watching the safeties, I had Starks as my safety too. But after watching Watts, I think he's
Yeah,
ahead of. Now, if you trade back into
I would be bummed. But I would believe in the organization and the decision to make that pick. But I would be bummed as a fan because
and
I'm not sold on
the
him.
thing that's going to be is you're going to have that same, especially if one of these other guys is still on the board and you pass him and take Starks.
I would have the same feeling as I had when when we took
Well,
Scene.
and
And the,
fair or not, I mean they're both Georgia safeties coming out of here, so the social media is going to take that and run with it. Gary, we'll hit that one as soon as we finish the mock-up, and then we'll talk about that too. Banks is moving to guard on some mocks. Jer says, I guess if you're going to think you're moving him into guard, that makes a little more sense.
then I could see that, but I don't know. I'd rather have Booker out of Alabama if he was there.
or another guy that's on the list down here a little bit further out.
Yes, yes, of course.
The next guy on the list, this one I would be okay with. Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle out of Oregon.
Yeah, I would too.
Brad Biggs from Chicago Tribune and Ralph Facciano from Fox both have him mocked here. Now, he's a guy that the Vikings have in on a top 30 visit, so they are showing some interest in him. Now,
And
again,
I think he's probably the top defensive tackle in the draft. If he's there, that might be a good pickup there as well.
it's toss up between him and the kid from Michigan, but
Yeah, I like me some Harmon.
I do too. And if we end up taking Harmon, I'm good with that. Northview's lost sound. Trade back until unless it's a Randy Moss caliber player. George, I can't say that I disagree with you on that. I If we can move back a few spots and pick it up, at
It
ideally a
depends on
second
if the guy will fall a few more spots or where we're traded
right,
back down to.
and what we're going to get in the draft compensation. You got to get
Be
something
nice to
moved
pick up a
back.
second and third. Be
Yeah,
nice to pick up a second and a third.
I don't think you get a second and a third if you're still staying in the
It,
first round. You'd have to trade out of the first round entirely for that.
right.
But yeah, if you could pick up somebody like the say the Giants or somebody want to come out of the top of round two and hop back in and get go after a Jackson Dart or somebody like that. That's an ideal spot there that the Vikings could fall back into that early second and then pick up some other good compensation there. But next guy on the list, we talked about him last week. Siobhan Revel Jr. out of South Carolina. We had Mike Bann from NFL Network mocked him to us.
I'd rather have the next guy. I'd much rather have the next guy.
Yeah,
I
I like Revel. I just don't know that he would be a good fit in this defense.
That's just it. Exactly.
This next
More of
guy,
his own.
this
The
next
next
guy,
guy is the
I
guy I want.
absolutely think he would be perfect in this defense, and that's Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas. Uh,
My
and
top corner for
yeah,
sure.
yep, mine too. But let me rephrase: top corner in a spot where we're going to be able to pick. Travis Hunter still, you know, but they don't know. We don't
That's just we're not getting Travis Hunter. But
know,
the next
and,
best guys
and that's
is
why I'm
Johnny
just
Barron.
prefacing. He's not the best guy on my board. He's the best guy on my board that the Vikings have a realistic shot at.
There you go. Best way to put it.
Yep. Love this kid. I liked him before. I watched a few Texas games this year, and
He's
I
just
liked him
a
before
player.
that. And
He's
he
just a
is.
player, man. Just a pure football player.
Mm-hmm. So I would be absolutely happy with that pick if he had end up being the guy. Then
I'd like the next. I'd like. Yep.
this last guy on the list, this guy I think would be. He fits right in the philosophy of what the Vikings like, and its versatility of their offensive lineman. He can play tackle. He can play guard. He can play
He can plug the
center.
hole in need. He can plug the last little hole there on that left side that we need
Yep.
right away, day one,
Yep.
and solidify the line.
Yeah.
And then you
And
got Brandel as a good spot guy.
yeah, that puts Brandel where he probably is best served, and that is being your number one backup guy for
And
multiple
he's a
spots.
little versatile too. He can play tackle called upon in a pinch as well.
Yeah. But yeah,
Hopefully it doesn't
Zabel
ever come
is.
down to that.
I watched a ton of Zabel, of course, being an NDSU guy, and the guy he's got a nasty streak to him. Great kid, but on the field he's gonna try to grind you into the freaking turf, and that's the kind of people
And
that
he
you want.
looked great in drills at the
Yeah.
Senior Bowl.
Well, I mean, he was the practice MVP of the Senior Bowl. I mean, he really
Yeah,
showed out, made himself
he
made himself
looked
money at
great.
the Senior Bowl.
Yes, looked great. Really brought up his draft stock as well,
Yeah,
just in
because
that alone.
before the Senior Bowl, they were showing him as probably maybe a fringe first round guy, but most places were showing him, second round.
Yep.
He solidified himself as a first round pick, in my opinion, from that Senior Bowl performance. And then he did well at the combine and everything too. So
Yeah. Lit it up.
and then
He would be. I would be happy with this pick. I would be happy with this pick. I would be happy with it.
Now NDSU had their pro day earlier this week. I didn't hear if any. I'm guessing the Vikings were here or had a contingent here, but I didn't hear, who was all here. But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear who was here, so I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know who was here.
No, I don't either. But that's all I've got on the list for this week. You got anything else you want to hit while we're here?
No.
Yeah, it's
Last
little
call in
bit.
the comment section. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yep. We got that one
Gary
guy that.
wanted to ask. Gary's
There
got a
you
couple
go.
questions
Yep.
here. Let's get back to that. I lost
The
where I
what? The
was
free agency question. Who was your favorite free agent pickup?
Lance, where are you?
I'm still here. I can see you.
Your
I can
screen
see
went
you.
dead, and I can. Gary, we're going to do one mock. We do that right before the draft. You were asking of all the okay. There you're back.
Oh, I am back. Okay.
Yeah, you're
Good.
back. Okay, Gary
Okay.
had this question earlier. I promised we'd get
Back
to it.
again.
Of all the free agent pickups this year, who is your favorite? I'll let you go first.
Okay, so he was a restricted free agent, but I liked. I'm going to give you two. I'm going to give you the restricted free agent guy that we traded for, and Jordan Mason. That's probably my favorite pickup of the offseason. But the actual free agency pickup, probably Fries. Fries at that right guard spot was probably my favorite pickup so far in free agency.
Yeah, I think he was definitely key. I loved what I heard out of Ryan Kelly when he did his interview.
If it wasn't for Kelly's age, I would have went with Kelly with the pickup. I love the pickup too, but the age there, it doesn't concern me at all. I'm just saying I like the Fries pickup because he can man that spot for the next fucking 8 seasons.
Yeah, but I think Ryan Kelly coming in and that having that veteran presence, with McCarthy, and just the way he was talking to he sounds like when he gets out on the field, he's going to be another one of these guys that's going to try to rip your head off and spit down your
And you know what? Finally, after years and years and years of abysmal interior offensive line play, we're actually going to have something formidable this season.
Yeah, we've been begging for this, to get some nasty on
the better part of a decade, right now. For the better part of a decade.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been doing this show for 5 years now, and we've been begging for it the entire time.
And the big reason why we were able to do this was Quessy getting us out of cap hell that we were strapped to from the prior regime.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. We had what were we, 6th or 7th in cap space going into the free agency, and we still have $27 million left.
Which makes us all wonder what's going on. But
so,
we'll
I think there's
find out soon enough.
I mean, you're going to take about 10 of that for your draft. Well, you normally would take about 10 for your draft picks, but right now when we only have 4 picks,
that's just it right there.
That much.
Right.
But there is a very strong possibility that something is still in the works, and maybe it's something they're going to wait and see who they get in the draft. Plus, once the draft passes, then the compensatory pick formula thing
resets.
The deadline is cut off on that, so you can bring in whoever you want after that, and it doesn't affect your comp picks. Because right now we are setting for 2026, we have the first third-round comp pick for Sam Darnold, and we've also got a 4th-round comp pick for Daniel Jones. So they don't want
to keep those.
Yeah, they don't want to lose those. So, I would look to see potentially one more splash move made once the draft is over.
Right. Well, look at last year when we went into almost damn near the end of training camp, and we made a couple more moves there towards the end. So, Yeah, y'all got to remember too. There's that second wave of free agency that comes after training camp when cuts are made, where some
Yeah.
guys will be out there too. If you're looking to fill some holes of need as well that you've seen in practice that might need to be addressed.
Yeah. And I mean, the Vikings have still got to go out and get a backup quarterback yet. They have talked to Ryan Tannehill.
That is what I believe will officially close the book on the whole fucking Aaron Rodgers
It will when we bring in a
saga.
backup quarterback. Yeah, it will. Now, I think that it's going to be Joe Flacco.
I'm hoping it's Tannehill, but I would not be upset if it was
Because the
Flacco.
thing, but the thing of it is, if they were going to bring in Tannehill, they could do it now, and he's not going to count against the comp formula.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But Joe Flacco would. So I think they're going to wait until after the draft, and if
They
somebody
could just be
signs,
waiting. They could just be weighing their options too. Is
yeah,
exactly what it could
but
be.
I think what the plan is, it is that they want to sign Flacco, but they're going to wait till after the draft. And if somebody that comes in beforehand and signs Flacco,
Tannehill.
then I think then Tannehill is their backup plan.
Both those guys would be great for me. I would be happy with either of those two guys. It would be an upgrade over anybody that we've had the backup position over the last 7 years.
Yeah,
Your Sean Mannions and your Nick Mullins. Mullins was okay, but way too much of a gunslinger for me.
yeah. George is going to the Philippines. Dapugan, where's that at, George? I'm not familiar with that city. I've been to Manila, I've been to Iloilo, I've been to Guimaras, but I've never been,
Never been where you've never been.
never been to Dapugan. Yeah,
Never been where you've never been.
that's right. But anyway, all right. So we hit that one up. With that, North Luzon. Okay. That's all I've got for tonight. A little bit of an abbreviated episode, but it is also a late night. So
And technicalities haven't been kind to this show tonight for some reason.
the I don't know what's the deal is with the computers tonight, but we got through the show anyway, and want to thank you guys. Shout out to Big D, he survived. Yep, friend of the Pantheons and myself. Went and got a pacemaker redone today, and he's on the mend already. I think he's on his way back home again. So, David, if you're watching, get well soon, my friend, and we'll keep tabs on you. But with that, want to thank you guys all for joining us on a late night here on a Friday. Apologize for the technical issues that we kind of had to string ourselves through here, but we made it through. And next week, we'll be hitting the defensive linemen because that is a definite possibility for a spot of need for the Vikings yet. So we'll be hitting mainly the defensive tackles, and there's a few good guys there that I'm excited to talk about too. So with that, again, thank you, everybody. Shout out Filipino Fan Club as always, and with that, why don't you take us home, Brunswick?
Another great late night episode here on Friday. It was nice having you guys all here. Love having you guys here for the show and all the discussion that goes on with us and you guys in the chat. Love you all. Once again, thanks again for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. With that being said, Aubrey and Millie, if you're out there watching, Dad loves and misses you. Skull.
Have a good weekend, everybody.